this video, we are going to look at quantities as a percentage. And when we talk about quantities, or when we talk about comparison between quantities, we used to scale everything, or we used to measure everything from a benchmark. All right, like if there are 25 students in a class, all right, and 14 students are present, that means we are comparing that 14 students are present out of 25, right? So that's how everything can be represented as a fraction and simultaneously as a decimal. All right, but fraction is the most appropriate way to compare something or to express something as a part of a whole, right? And that's what the definition of fraction is, right? So 14 out of 25, similarly 7 out of 20, these are all the representation of a group of or the quantities out of something, right? Not total. Like if it is total, then we are going to write 20 out of 20, right? Now, but once we got the fraction, then how do we represent these quantities as a percentage, right? Because first you're gonna get a fraction, you're gonna form a fraction, right? And then you're going to find the percentage of that quantity, right? For example, there are a group of students, and among this group of students we got some among this group of students this is representing the number of females, okay, and this is representing number of males, right? And the total number of students in the class are, if I just write it like 15 female students and 20 male students, okay? And I want to express this quantity as a percentage, okay? All right, so there are total number of students, which are 20 plus 15, 35, all right? And there are 15 female students, so the fraction for the female students would be 15 over 35, and fraction for the male students would be 20 over 35, right? Now, how do we represent this as a percentage? The percentage of female staff in the female in the classroom would be 15 over 35 times. Now you need to express this as a percentage. You just need to multiply it with 100 to make it a percentage, right? So 15 over 35 times 100, that would be, so you got 15 and 35, both are, yeah, so when you multiply it with 100, it would be 42.85%. That means the 42.85% of the classroom or the students are female students, right? Similarly, if you do for the male students, like 20 over 35, their fraction is 20 over 35 times 100, that would be 42. 20 divided by 35 times 100, that is 57%. 57.14%. All right. Now, the interesting thing is when you add both of these percentages, like 42.85 plus 57.14, that is actually equals to 100%. Why? Because see, the number of students, female students and male students, make up 100% of the class. All right, that's why that percentage is representing the 100%, right? So that's how we represent quantities in percentages. There is two-step thingy. Like first you need to understand the case, like how am I going to form a fraction, and then once you got a fraction, just multiply it with 100 to get the percentage. Now let's look at another case where you are expected to find some percentage, and it's very common in your daily life that you are expected to find the percentage of some number. Let's say we got a number 50, okay? We got a number 50, and we are expected to find 20% of 50. So 20% of 50, how do we find this? Like, how do we find the 20% of 50, right? So first we need to form the percentage, the fraction from the percentage, okay? Like what percentage we need to find? 20%. So let's just find the 20% as a fraction. So 20% as a fraction can be represented as 20 out of 100, right? That's how we represent percentages. Like when percentages, like the denominator should be 100. So 20% as a fraction is 20 over 100. Now you need to find the 20% of 50. That means the 20% of 50, right? You just need to multiply the number and 20% of 50. So that would be, either you can simplify this or you can make it equals to 0.2. Okay, because 20 divided by 100 would be 1 and 2. It would be 0.2 times 50. Okay, so 0.2 times 50, it would be, and you can either you can do with the decimal multiplication or you can just simplify this. Like I can cancel these two zeros. Okay, I can cancel these two zeros as well, and then 2 5s are 10. So 10. So 20% of 50 is 10. Okay, 20% of 50 is 10. Let's take another example. Let's say we have a number 320 and find the 75% of 320. Okay, we're expected to find 35% of 320. Now what we would do, we would first convert the 75% into a fraction. That would be 75 out of 100, right? And then we need to just multiply it with 320 because we have to find a 75% of 320. Now if you are going to simplify this, or first let's take it to the decimal. It would be, so we have 75, we have decimal here, so 1 2, and decimal will move 2 places towards left hand side, would be 0.75 times 320. Okay, 0.75 times 320. Either you can do this way, you need to do the multiplication with the decimal, or you can just simplify it here so that you can, so it would become 7.5 times 32, right? So 0.75 times 320, or you can do 7.5 times 32, so that is 240. All right, that is 240. In case you are curious about how do we multiply decimals with the number, like a typical way, if you are not allowed to use the calculator, then let's see how do we do this. So 7.5 multiplied by 32. So let's first multiply with 5. So 5 2s are 10. Here we got 0, carry 1. 5 3s are 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. Then we put a cross here. 7 2s are 14. 4 here, 1 carry. 7 3s are 21, and then plus 1 is 22. And we're going to add all of them. So this would become 0. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So 0 here, 1 here, 1 1, and this is 4, and this is 2. Right? Now where would you put the decimal? Okay. So where would the decimal will be? Like first we need to count how many places, how many number of decimal places do we have in total. So we got 1 decimal place, so we'll move the decimal from here to here. Okay, so it would be 240.0. Okay, so that's how we multiply the decimals. Okay, so the 75% of 320 is 240. Let's take an example. In this question, we need to find which of the following shows how to calculate 15 as a percentage of 31. Right? We need to calculate 15 as a percentage of 31. All right. So 15 is the number, is the part, and the whole is 31. Like 15 out of 31. We need to calculate the percentage. So 15 out of 31. That's the fraction we're getting. And how to convert a fraction to a percentage? We just need to multiply it with 100. So 15 over 31 times 100 is the percentage we're gonna get, right? So 15 out of 31, so option C is the right option.